Hi students, welcome back to the channel. So in this session we are going to cover system calls in operating system. So this particular topic is very interesting and very important for our college or university level examination. So in this session we will cover the introduction of system calls. After that we will move to the working and then different types of system calls that are very important. So in operating system lecture series, this is our lecture number 18. And students, if you forgot to watch previous 17 lectures, you can check the description box. I have already added the link there. So now let's just start with the introduction part. So as you can see here, system call is nothing but it is a special type of function. It is a special type of function that is used by the process. These functions are basically used by the processes to request action from the operating system, which cannot be carried out by the normal function. So system call also provide an interface between the process and the operating system. Okay, this statement is very important that system call is responsible to provide the interface between the processes and the operating system. Along with this, you should also note that system call provide the interface so that the processes can communicate with the operating system. If a process, let's say P1, wants to communicate with my computer's operating system, only system call allow it to do so. Okay, I hope everything is clear till now. Other than this, you should note that the system calls are available as assembly language instructions. So always system calls are used as this type of language instructions, and they are also included in the manuals used by the assembly language programs. And also system calls are usually made when a process in user mode. Here we have the working. System calls are created when the process in user mode requires access to a resource. Let's say process P1 is in user mode and it wants a resource. Okay, then system calls are created. Then it requests the kernel to provide the resource with the help of system call. Okay, so here we have kernel mode. So what is the meaning of kernel here? So kernel is nothing but it is the core component of operating system that has complete control of the hardware. So all the hardware components are completely controlled by operating system kernel. Right? Next point is a system call offers the services for the operating system to the user program with the help of what? With the help of API. Here API stands for application programming interface. Okay, as I have told you, the system calls are the interface between processes and the operating system, right? So uh, whenever an operating system requests for the user programs, system call provide it some services with the help of API, that is application programming interface. And system calls are the only entry point. These are the only entry point for the kernel system. Okay, whenever any process wants to enter the kernel mode from the user mode, only system call allow them to enter in this particular section. Okay, a system call can be written in assembly language. I have told you it can be available in assembly language instruction or in higher level language like what? Like C language and Pascal, etc. Other than this, one more definition you should know that a system calls are predefined function. I have told you these are the special functions and these are the predefined functions. These are the predefined functions that the operating system may directly invoke they can be directly invoked if a high level language is used. All right. Now let's just move to the working of the system calls. Okay, so here we have two modes. First, you should note the user mode. So in this mode, execution is done on behalf of the user. Okay, and when we talk about kernel mode, it is also known as the monitor mode or simply monitor. Okay, in this mode, the execution is done by the behalf of operating system. On the behalf of operating system, all tasks are done here, right? So when the process is under execution, process executes under user mode. But when the process requires some operating system resources, okay, let's say this is our process P1. So when process P1 is under execution, okay, it is here in the user mode. But when the process requires some operating system resources, it require memory, it require fast processing, etc., to complete the task, the processes makes a system call with the help of kernel mode. System call in operating system are executed in kernel mode on a priority basis. So it always works on the priority basis, right? On completion of system calls, the control is passed to process in the user mode. So the process continues the execution in the user mode always. So I hope students these steps are clear to you. Other than this, uh, you should also note some processes, note some steps here. Okay, so whenever we talk about process P1 and operating system, the process is executed in user mode. Process is always executed in user mode till the time a system call interrupts it. So जब तक system call किसी भी particular process को interrupt नहीं कर देती बीच में आकर के, तब तक क्या होता है? तब तक process हमेशा user mode में ही execute होती है. Second step is, after that, the system call is executed here in the kernel mode on a priority basis. In the third step, once a system call execution is over here in the kernel mode, control returns back to the user mode. And in the fourth step, the execution of user process is resumed in the kernel mode as usual. Okay, so all these are the important steps that you should note. Now let's just talk about why do we need a system call in operating system? What are the importance of using the system calls? So first importance is reading and writing. Reading and writing from files demand system calls. Okay, so whenever a process wants to read or write any file in the operating system, it always demands the system call. Second advantage is that if a file system wants to create or it wants to delete files, okay, so it always required system calls. Third important benefit is network connection. Network connections, okay, so network connections need system calls for sending and receiving some packets. We are talking about here some data files or data packets. Okay, and fourth important advantage is that if our process wants to access the hardware devices connected to the operating system like scanner, printer, etc., we always need system calls. Okay, so I hope students everything is clear till now. In the next session We have different types of operating system that include process control, file management, device management, information maintenance, and communication. So all these types are also very important. So we will cover every type in detail in the next video. We will cover their functions, we will cover their working as well. Okay, so in this session I will just tell you some important information, one liner information about these types. If we talk about process control, there are mainly five types. Okay, so first and important is process control. These system calls deal with processes. As its name implies, it always deal with processes, and it helps operating system to create the process. Okay, it also helps to terminate the process, etc. Anything you want to do with the process, it is always done with process control type. Another is file management. So these system calls are responsible for file manipulation, such as creating a file, reading a file, writing a file, etc. Next is device management. Whenever we talk about any hardware devices, all these devices are managed by this type of system calls, and it is responsible for device manipulation also. Okay, next is information maintenance. These system calls handle information and its transfer between operating system and user program. Whenever any information is transferred between a computer operating system and the user program, then it is the responsibility of information maintenance type. Another is communication. So these system calls are useful for inter-process communication. Inter-process communication means two different types of processes can communicate here with each other. They also deal with creating and deleting a communication connection. Whenever communication connection is going to create, or if user want to delete that connection, only communication type of system call is responsible here. So this is the basic introduction of system calls, its working and types. In the next session we will cover all these types in detail, along with their functions, along with their examples that are also very important for a college or university level examination. So I hope students everything is clear till now. So thanks for watching this session.